Alrighty, good night everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Great Heathen Arena. And today we're going to be having a debate on the shape of the Earth. Let me introduce to you briefly our debaters for today. Arguing for the round Earth or spherical spheroid Earth position is Gary S. And arguing for the flat Earth position tonight is Sean G. Alrighty, Gary, you're good to go.
Okay, I'm ready. Today I'm just going to be pretty much pointing out observations that we see every day in the natural world and show how that's consistent with the Earth being spherical or a globe or having a curve to it. There's certain observations we see every day that's consistent with scientific theories that confirm
He's gonna say gravity. I fucking know it.
that are stationary plane as explained by flat earthers and geocentrists. Um, Certain observations you can see, such as the sun going across the sky and maintaining the same angular size as it goes across the sky. Also, other observations would be boats going over the horizons. Also, the sunset. We also see that go over the horizon, even though it claims that that is simply perspective or atmospheric interference. It's inconsistent because um, perspective only speaks to what you see. It doesn't actually speak to what you don't see. So to make a claim that perspective explains why you see half of an object is just inconsistent with what we currently see in the natural world. Also, um, um, the spherical Earth is also consistent with what we see with gravitational pulls and also certain gravitation arguments that are put against the Earth being any other additional shape. Um, there are several experiments you can do, like the Sip-On experiment. There are
For the record, it's siphon. It's fucking siphon.
experiments done by Cavendish, which have been experimented, reproduced multiple times. Also, there's other experiments you can do to confirm that gravity is a force and that it actually works. Um, One reason we know it works is because equations are used for multiple things and they seem to hold consistently that objects fall at the same rate. We can confirm that with experiments such as the bowling ball and the feather, and that experiment has also been recreated multiple times by not just professionals but amateurs. It's inconsistent with any other um, any other explanation to why objects fall towards the Earth and not away or across the Earth. Another observation that we see is dealing with the sun and the fact that we see things like the midnight sun. There's no explanation on any other model how you get a 24-hour sun in any other period, um, in any other model other than a globe model. I haven't seen any explanation of how you get a 24-hour sun for just one day on any other model other than the globe model. That's one thing that would have to be explained. That any other model would have to explain how that would work on their model. I haven't seen any explanation of how they can have a 24-hour sun at any point in time. Also, other models seem to have problems explaining um, how they stay in line with other laws like thermodynamic laws and other laws. They also deny the existence of multiple things such as space, planets, um, satellites, which we all know work. They make claims that just don't add up. For instance, regular radios, you can easily go under underpass and they continue to work. But satellite radio, if you go under underpass, they stop. They must show how that's inconsistent with the Earth being a globe, because it doesn't make sense for a radio to stop if you go under an underpass, but uh, regular analog radios work no matter if you're going under an underpass or not. That shows that the signal is coming from above and not from a radio tower on the ground. I mean, there's multiple examples that we see in the natural world that point to the Earth being spheroid, not a flat plane. I mean, I guess that would be it for my opening presentation. See, see what Sean has as a rebuttal for those particular topics that I brought up.
Alrighty. Thank you, Gary, for your opening statements. By the way, if you're gonna check out these two debaters, the links to their YouTube channels are in the description below. Anyway, okay, Sean, whenever you're ready, it's your turn now.
All right, thank you for having me. I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Basically, it's pretty simple. The things that he touched on were a lot of observations. No one walks around every day observing any kind of curve. NASA and themselves have told us everything from 70,000 to 130,000 feet to see this curve. Their shape has changed numerous amount of times to the point where we should be able to physically feel the amount of times that their globe has gone from a ball to a pear to oblique to every other sign or shape that they will continue to tell us. He touched on a lot of things like observing, want to say are, and a lot of people can't even do these. So it's pretty much the majority of people just taking it for whatever they say, which is it's not something I can just go by. As to satellites and cell phone towers, we do not all have the same points of views. I do actually believe we can go to the inner orbit of space, and regardless, with weather balloons would be able to do the exact same thing, especially if it was tens of thousands of satellites out there like NASA claims. What else is there? Basically, gravity is not proven. It's a theory. It has been explained 1,000 times that it's a theory, which is why there are so many companies trying to prove it so it can become the standard law. The tests that they have shown have not proven it. Otherwise, it would obviously been proven and still not a theory. There are also numerous tests disproving gravity and showing that it's not exactly how they say it is. When it comes to the oceans and boats going over or away, both another observation that only a human can see and give for themselves, yet the only issue no one ever talks about is the fact that the ocean is constantly moving, swaying, so therefore to tell me a boat is going over a curve is impossible for anyone to observe themselves. As for the sun, numerous pictures, you can go to any website and hit images, and you will see obviously that the sun does change the shape. It does become bigger and smaller as day projects and ends. A lot of their ideas of how space works is all theory. To know a star is a million light years away is speculation. I tell you exactly, and I believe that majority of what NASA and the government and these scientists tell you is speculations, not proven science, yet people take it for it. As far as it being a ball and totals in this speech, no one here has ever seen a curve or had the opportunity to prove that it is a curve. Therefore, how do you know it is a curve? How do you know it is shaped as an oblique, ball, or pear, whatever you guys go off of these days? And that's about it for now.
Alrighty. Thank you, Sean. Okay, so now we're going to be moving to the rebuttal period of this debate. Gary, you're up.
Okay. During my presentation, I didn't mention anything about NASA. I hate that he used like half of his presentation time to speak of NASA because I didn't mention it. But their observations would also be valid. I understand he simply wants to ignore all the photos and everything else. That's fine. That's why I didn't mention them, because I knew he wouldn't accept that as evidence. Another thing, he mentioned that there have been numerous tests to disprove gravity, but didn't mention one of them. I mentioned at least two of them that prove gravity, and he didn't address either one of those. Maybe he's not unfamiliar with those experiments. One of them he can do himself, but I'm pretty sure he hasn't done that experiment to confirm that that is gravity. Two, he mentioned boats going over the horizon and sunset. Those are two things that we consistently see, and there are two observations that we consistently see that confirm that these things are going behind an object, and the only object that they can be going behind of would be the Earth. Also confirming that the Earth is a spheroid and not flat, unless he's suggesting that the objects go beyond the flat plate, which I don't think he's making that claim. So they would be going behind the horizon. Also, we know that for a fact because, of course, the boats aren't going over the edge. Boats are obviously sailing across the sea, but we also see them go underneath the horizon, just like we see the sun go underneath the horizon. There were other points he didn't address, such as thermodynamics. I'm not sure if he's familiar with what those are, so maybe he doesn't know that some of the flat Earth claims deflect those. He touched on saying that there are objects obviously floating in what we would call orbits, but he considers them inside of his dome, which is again problematic for thermodynamics, so he'd have to explain that. I mean, he touched on only a few of the things that I said, but he didn't provide any evidence for those. So I would like, hopefully in his rebuttals, he presents evidence. I also, maybe less NASA, since I didn't bring up NASA as part of my evidence.
Okay. Alrighty. I guess Gary is done with his rebuttal. So now we're moving back to Sean.
Yes. All right. Thank you, sir. I was actually giving you the benefit of the doubt on that, so I'll go ahead and touch on the things you would like me to. As for photos of your guys' globe, not one is actual, real, untouched, raw photos. They are all CGI, and I touched on NASA because NASA is where you have obviously gotten all your information, seeing how you do not own a space shuttle. As for tests proving whether gravity is real or not, then you can do a simple, if you actually do the test yourself, you will see that oil, which is a heavier mass, will float on the water. As for boats going over a horizon, that is not true. It is distance. And other than that, you will not be able to even tell where your horizon is, because there are swells and waves that would obviously give your observation a false truth. As far as a curve, you do not see one when you're looking at a horizon. The best example is at a beach. you may see swells, you may see waves, but you do not see a curve. We can do simple tests, as in doing surveying. I can do a mead line as far as I want, and still there will be no curve when I do my measurements and incrementation in different increments. As for satellites and space, like I said, you guys may have to stay stuck to a certain idea of what your globe is. As a flat earther, I do not. I do not believe there is a dome. I believe the dome is a theoretical idea of what is really there. As for what it is, in my opinion, it is our atmosphere, and the gap between our atmosphere and space is what most reference to the dome. I do not believe it is a actual hard surface that cannot be penetrated or gone through. And as for any other situation that goes along with me bringing up NASA, I like to state that if your information is not, or if your information is not from NASA, I would hope that you have been there or been able to prove this with your own eyes. Most of the things that he will say or have said isn't anything he's done himself. It is all things he's been told, and couldn't prove on the spot, because he's told these things, so therefore he repeats them. A lot of the things almost everything I've done is all research and what I consider provable at any time. I'm good for right now. Let's see what he has to do.
Okay. Alrighty, I'll give another shout out to Sean and Gary. Now we're gonna move on to the cross-examination, aka Q&A session, where debaters get to ask each other questions. And Gary, you get to go first. You get to ask questions to Sean.
Okay, Sean. Let's see. Let's start with the first question. If the Earth isn't a globe, how do you explain a midnight sun or a 24-hour sun?
By the seasons, the sun does move off to a Cancer and a Capricorn line, as you believe in your model, and it does it the exact same way.
Is that your question that you were asking me?
No, I was part of my answer.
Okay. Well, first of all, we know what happens in the northern and the south pole. Let me focus the question more. Since we know that there's a 24-hour sun in the northern hemisphere, and it's dark other places that are clear on the other side of the globe, it would be dark, but the sun is completely up. Well, actually, let's say on the same side, like in California, it's completely dark, but the sun is still up in Alaska. How does that work if the Earth isn't a globe? It can't work the same way.
Okay, it would actually only work on a flat map or a flat Earth, basically, because as the globe is a ball, and for it to happen that way, it would have to go past your 23-degree tilt. On a flat, it works perfectly because we do, like I said, have a Cancer and a Capricorn line that the sun does shift to through the seasons. When it obviously is on the Cancer line, it does it shines the exact same way. It still hits Alaska. It still does in the far northern hemisphere. I don't see how you would think it doesn't, but it does work the exact same way. It actually makes sense on a flat map.
On your model, you're not using a spotlighting sun?
No.
So the sun doesn't spotlight. So why can't you see the sunlight from California then?
Because your eyes cannot see that far.
You can't see. I mean, it's right. Alaska is right above you.
I mean, you see Alaska from I can't see Alaska from my house.
Well, I don't know where you live. But if you're in
I'm in San
Seattle,
Diego.
okay, yeah, where you're completely at the bottom. But say you were in Seattle, it'll be completely dark in Seattle, and you would still be able to see the sun in Alaska, but you can't, right?
No, you can't. The sun does. I mean, you're making it seem like the sun would be a spotlight that doesn't move. It still has a revolution. It still goes around. There's a certain point where the sun's so far away from where I am that, or Seattle is, that you don't see that far. It may be a haze over the sunset, over the horizon, but you don't. It's still a distance of perception. That would be almost like saying, when it's dark in New York, you should still be able to see the sun in California, but it doesn't work that way.
But actually,
The sun is
you can see the sun from California when and see it from New York. You can't do that. You do
when
understand that, right?
not when it's dark in New York. You can't.
No,
All
not
right.
when it's dark.
Sean, you can you can go ahead and ask Gary some questions now.
Yes. All right, Gary. You constantly state that gravity is something proven. I would like you to explain to me where it is proven and how you have tested this yourself. Have you done these tests yourself?
Well, one experiment what I would tell you to try is the SIPON
For the record, it's siphon. Fucking siphon.
experiment. That's an experiment that most people haven't mentioned, but it shows how you can actually get water to run uphill using only gravity power, and also the Cavendish experiment, which have been retested multiple times. Um, just those two there should help you. I mean, anybody can do a sip-on experiment. It's extremely easy. All you do is take 2 bottles of water and a straw. You took the straw in the bottle at the top and run it to the one at the bottom, and the water will be sucked from out of the container down into the lower container underneath. That's gravity pulling the water actually uphill. Are you familiar with that experiment?
Sean, are you there?
I'm here. My bad. I don't know why my thing went off. Yes.
Yeah, are you familiar with the sip?
Yes.
Are you familiar with a sip-on experiment?
Yes. As far as I can tell, that is more of the vacuuming of the air. For the record, it's siphon. Fucking siphon. Displacing itself, not of gravity.
Yeah, but a sip-on experiment works in a vacuum. It's been tested into a vacuum, and it works the same.
So you're saying that the vacuum is like a vacuum cleaner's gravity too? Is this the same effect?
No, not a vacuum cleaner in zero
No.
atmosphere. They suck all the air out.
I understand it's not a vacuum cleaner, but I'm saying, how's the vacuuming effect proven as gravity?
What do you
Or
mean
how does that?
vacuum? There's no air. They put it into a vacuum and they suck all the air out, so there's no atmospheric pressure to affect the water, and the water still is sucked up and down.
Okay. Have you done this test yourself?
Yes. Well, not in a vacuum, but I've done it, of course, where the water just sucks out of the thing. You can easily siphon water that way.
So you haven't done the test you're explaining?
Yes, I just told you I did. I haven't done it in a vacuum. I don't have a vacuum chamber, but I know that the experiment has been done in a vacuum, which proves that
so what you're
it's
stating
by air power or atmospheric pressure.
So what you're stating is that the test you have done is not the test that you're telling me about.
No, I have done the test. I have not done the test in a vacuum. I have not done the test in a vacuum. I don't own a vacuum chamber.
Okay, so then it's not the test you're explaining that proves it. So you haven't done the test yourself.
No, I've done the test.
I
have not done it in a vacuum. I do not own a vacuum chamber.
Okay,
thank you. I've seen it done in a vacuum.
On TV. Okay. for my
Wait a
next
minute.
question. What? Yes,
Well, what does that have to do with anything? The experiment still works.
because what I'm trying to
It works.
explain is that you're able to everything that I'm going to explain is stuff I can test for myself, and anybody can test for themselves and actually do it.
Yes,
You stated. Hang on, Gary.
can do the
Hang on,
experiment.
Gary.
Yeah,
You stated.
no interruptions, please.
You stated that there are a couple tests that anybody can do to prove gravity, and you stated these. When, in my impression, that you have done these tests, like you said, everyone can do, but you haven't done them, which goes to right back what I was saying. That everything you guys are going to say is things you have not done yourself, but you're just listening and repeating.
No, I have done a Cipron experiment. It's easy. They do it in elementary school.
Jesus, I'm not sure what school he went to, but it's fucking siphon. Say it with me now. Siphon.
That's what I'm telling you. That experiment has been done. You have made the claim that it's due to atmospheric pressure. Can you
Yes.
prove it if you haven't? Have you done the experiment?
No, I've not done that experiment,
So
but I
you do,
can.
so you cannot say it's atmospheric pressure, can you?
No, I didn't state that the reason that I've done that test and that this is why it is not gravity. I was asking you if that proves it. I don't think gravity is real, so why would I have done a test to prove if it is real or not? I know why things
Confirm
are the
whether.
way they are.
How would you know that? What experiment have you done to confirm that the Cipron test isn't gravity powered?
Well, here's a kicker to it. I don't have to do any tests that prove or disprove gravity because your scientist still can't prove it.
I'm telling you, this is a gravity experiment that you can do to confirm gravity, and you said you haven't
So,
experienced your test.
okay, you can't prove gravity if they can. And if you're telling me you've proven gravity, you should probably go call somebody and you can be a millionaire. Because if people with
I'm
millions
doing
of
the
dollars,
same experiment they've done.
okay, that obviously does not prove gravity.
Why
If
would
it
it?
proved gravity, then we
It's
wouldn't be
gravity
having this
powered.
discussion.
No, it's gravity
Gary,
powered.
please, please don't talk over Sean while he's trying to make a point.
Right, but
It,
Sean is
go
denying
ahead.
the fact that it's a gravity powered test. It's shown
It,
that it runs by gravity. He's just saying that it doesn't, but he hasn't done the test himself.
okay, I would like you to say the theoretical gravity then,
It's not.
because it is not proven. It is not. If it was proven, we would not be having this discussion. It's
Just
not proven.
what force is pulling the water out of the container?
Atmospheric pressure and mass. I don't know
Atmospheric.
for sure. I'm not 1,000% sure, but you asked me what I believe, so I am telling you what I believe.
But you haven't done the experiment to confirm that's what it is.
Nope, I have not.
Have you seen anyone do the experiment to confirm what it is?
No, I haven't.
So what are you basing your observation on?
Scientists not even being able to prove its gravity.
No, not what scientists are saying gravity is doing it. What have you done to prove that what you just said causes the water to come out of the canister into the lower canister? What experiments have you or anyone else done to confirm what you said is the reason why?
Because I know there is mass, I know there is atmospheric pressure, and I know there is density. Therefore, it has to be those, because those are proven.
So you're using the law of Archimedes?
I'm using the law of everything that is proven. That's what I go off of. I'm not going to go off of anything. I'm not going to tell you that something is a fact and something is proven if it's not.
Well, you brought up density and mass would be the law of Archimedes, but you understand that requires a downward force.
Okay, atmospheric pressure does that as well.
Right, but you haven't
And
done any experiments to confirm that atmospheric pressure is affecting the canister at all.
yeah, I have a barometer. I can test atmospheric pressure. I can
No,
tell you out right now what our
you can
atmospheric
test,
pressure is outside.
right. You can confirm that there's an atmospheric pressure outside, but is that atmospheric pressure
Well, it's
affecting the
everywhere.
canister? Is it affecting the water in the canister to make it go to the bottom?
Atmospheric pressure is everywhere. Therefore, yes.
Right. No, the question is, what test did you do to confirm that atmospheric pressure is affecting the canister, causing the water to go uphill?
you're now it's just semantics because I told you I didn't do the test. Therefore, how are you asking me to tell you how I can prove atmospheric pressure is the reason for it? I can
Because
tell you how.
you're making the claim that it is.
Okay, I'm not making the claim it is. I'm making the claim that there is no such thing as gravity. Therefore, it must be.
Right. I'm telling you that they've done an experiment to confirm that atmospheric pressure they've done a test to confirm that atmospheric pressure has no effect on the water coming out of the canister going to the lower canister by putting it into a vacuum chamber. You have done no experiment at all to show that atmospheric pressure has any effect on the canister at all.
Okay, so did they do the test to prove gravity or to prove that atmospheric pressure was
Let me see that.